we got the guy with us. And this is the guy who knows more about fantasy sports than anybody that I know, at least. We call him the fantasy guru. He is the Charm City cash cow. His name is Michael Schusler. If you guys have any questions about fantasy, you can fire him out there. We haven't gotten a couple comments along the way. Somebody just logged in here and said that you definitely have a man crush on Patrick Mahomes. And
Fair.
somebody also said woohoo.
Oh,
So if any of you want to leave your comments along the way, we'd be glad to listen to them. Right now, we're going to be playing a little game, something we've never done before. But Michael came to me this morning in the pre-show meeting and said, John, and I said, what? And he said, I have this game I'd like to play, and it's called the fantasy guessing game. And he said, I want to come on the show, and I want to present you with two guys and see if you can figure out which guy I'm talking about, only by talking about their statistics.
that's right.
So I'm excited. I'm not the fantasy guy you are. I'll purely be guessing, but I want to hear about it because this sounds like a lot of cool information.
Absolutely. And it's some interesting stat lines that I'm going to give to you. And then you, like you said, you will tell me who you think each stat line belongs to. And everyone watching at home or listening, if you have the ability to type in a comment, you can type in your guess too. But John, don't cheat and look at the comments. Okay.
I will definitely look at the comments.
Okay. There.
I have them on my control board here, so I will definitely at some point probably look at the comments. But I will try to come up with my own answer.
Okay. First one for the fantasy guessing game. Since week 7, this player, we'll call him player A, has had 106 carries for 485 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns since week 7. Okay. Player B has had, since week 7, has had 110 carries, 419 rushing yards, and 0 rushing touchdowns in that span. I will give you a hint. Both of these players are in the same division. I can go over them again.
I'm going to say player 1 is Kareem Hunt.
That is not correct.
And player 2 is J.K. Dobbins.
Unfortunately, no. It's in the NFC.
Okay. You should have told me which way. I'm going to say player 1 is since week 7. How many yards for the first guy?
Okay, so since week 7. Now, both of these stat lines are quite comparable, except for the touchdown. So listen again. Since week 7, player A, 106 carries, 485 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. Player B, since week 7, 110 carries, so 4 more carries, but 419 rushing yards, so less rushing yards, and then 0 touchdowns in that span.
Oh, wow. I think that player B is going to be Jones from the Green Bay, and player. I'm wrong again. I can see your face. I'm wrong.
Yes, player A. It's one of my favorite.
Hang on. Someone's guessing here. Someone is saying Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook.
That's not correct.
Not correct. Okay, damn it. Okay. All right. We give up. I don't think anybody's guessing in the
player
stats
A.
yet. I'm sorry. Player A.
Player A is Wayne Gallman.
I was going to say it was Gallman too.
And player
why?
B.
Because I know you have a huge man crush on him.
I do.
And one of your man crushes.
Player B is Ezekiel Elliott.
Really?
Who has more attempts but less yards and 6 less touchdowns than Wayne Gallman since week 7. Can you believe that?
Wow. And I bet on DraftKings he still costs more money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. It's the name game.
Name value.
Yep.
All right. Give me another one. Okay. I'm going to get it.
Okay. Since the beginning of the season, this player A, has had 297 carries for 1,532 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. Player B, since the beginning of the season, 369 carries, 1,533 rushing yards, and 15 rushing touchdowns.
Tell me number 1 again. Give it to me one more time. Because I got this one. This one I got.
297 carries, 1,530 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns.
It's Dalvin Cook.
No. Close.
Close to Dalvin Cook?
Yeah. The only
Jerry
one.
Cook?
You know what? Go on. The only guy close to Dalvin Cook in production.
Derrick Henry.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, player B, 369 carries, 1,533 rushing yards, and 15 rushing touchdowns.
Aaron Jones.
No, to be fair, this one was a little tricky. Player B is the entire Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Can you?
Wow.
So Derrick Henry is outproducing, 2/3 of the league. But
Wow.
yeah,
That's crazy.
A team like the Raiders who want to run the ball. That's what John Gruden wants to do. They have a workhorse back in Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, they got a stud running back.
But you can just see the difference when you have a monster like Derrick Henry who's
Wow.
putting up crazy numbers. So to
That's
Lance's
huge.
point, yeah.
That's a good one. Give me one more. How many more you got?
I got two more.
All right.
I got two more. Okay,
Let me get
this one's for receivers, okay? So player A has 65 receptions, 1,078 yards, and 7 touchdowns. This player A, is also he's making $3.2 million a year. Okay, so player B now, 100 receptions, 1,167 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Player B is making $14.4 million a year.
Player A is he plays for the the Las Vegas Raiders.
No.
And it's not him. It's not Aguilar.
Nope. No, I'll give you the numbers again. If Aguilar was putting up these numbers, I mean, come on. All right. 65 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 1,078, and 7 catching touchdowns. $3.2 million a year. Not much. Okay. Player B.
Yeah, I just went by contract. So
what's that?
I was going by contract. I'm like,
okay. Player A, much smaller
contract. He's either a young guy on like a first contract, or he's a guy that said they got on a deal. So I'm going to go young guy. Go ahead. Second guy.
Player B, 100 receptions, 1,167 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
The second one is Hopkins.
He's making $14.4 million a year.
The second one's Hopkins, right?
No, but someone in the chat did guess it. It's Justin Jefferson.
Oh, wow.
Diggs.
Yeah, someone got it. How you like that?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get it up on the screen here. There we go. Jefferson and Diggs, huh?
Yep. So
nice, Steve. Steve Logson.
And John, this is something that you brought up about what a great move it was for the Vikings, who, I mean, look at the difference in contract, and they were able to, get just as, not the same amount of production, but I mean, for that price, of course, you'll take that slight dip in production with Justin Jefferson.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, anytime you can bring in that's the NFL. And people have to realize that anytime you bring in a young guy, especially in the first round, you got a 4-year contract, you got a 5th-year option. Even at that 5th-year option, he's probably not going to make what Diggs is making. It's player B, Julio. No, this guy's really slow. Steve loves the game though. Steve's because he got one right, so he's super excited to keep playing. All right, give us one more. We got one more, right?
That got player A right. Yeah, this is the final one. Okay, of the fantasy guessing game. If you love this game so much, everyone watching, we'll bring it back. All right. So the final one. Player A has 9 interceptions in the last 11 games and 5 straight games with a pick. Player B has 8 interceptions in the last 13 games and 4 straight games with a pick.
Player 1. I just heard a stat this weekend where somebody was talking about player 1 with the interceptions. Who was it? Cornerback for the Miami Dolphins, Xavier Rhodes.
Xavier Howard, but yes, I'll give
Xavier Howard. Sorry, not Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Howard was number 1.
Correct.
And I don't know who number 2 is.
Number 2? It's kind of a trick question again, John. It's the entire Baltimore Ravens defense.
Really?
Yeah.
With that secondary.
Wow. Now, the Ravens are known for, especially Marlon Humphreys, for, punching the ball out, getting all those fumble recoveries. But a significant, dip in interceptions this year as opposed to last year.
That's
Xavier
huge.
Howard Xavier Howard by himself, outproducing the Ravens defense, the
Oh,
Ravens
wow.
secondary in interceptions.
Wow. He's the Charm City cash cow, Michael Schusler, with probably the best segment you've ever put together here.
Oh.
Michael, that was great. Thank you so much, man. The
course.
crowd's going crazy for you.
Yeah, they love
There's like people in the chat asking for your phone number. I made the last part up. Mike, thanks so much for coming on the show. If you guys want to learn more about fantasy football, or actually any fantasy sport now that basketball is going to be kicking off, Michael writes some great articles over at What's on Sports. Mike's, and he does his own podcast. I forgot to even mention that.
That's
his own podcast. Correct me when I'm wrong here. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's right.
Live on this same channel. Actually, we do. You take Tuesdays and Thursdays, same time, same channel.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the podcast called?
It's called the Fantasy Fallout Podcast, and it is available on Facebook, YouTube Live, for video. If everyone wants to watch it live, the recording also goes up after that. And then, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find it on there as well. Fantasy Fallout Podcast.
Awesome. His name is Michael Schusler. He is he's the man right now. Michael, thank you so much. Great segment, brother.
Of course.
Touchdown!